Hello, I'm Bruce Cameron, Federal Prison Authority, and today this video is going to talk about the Individualized Reentry Plan. So every inmate who goes into federal prison will be seen by their case manager, and even very early on, they'll meet with their case manager and be interviewed to develop, even from the beginning, an individualized reentry plan. And this is done at the initial classification. And so what I want to do is I want to go over some of the elements of the initial classification individualized reentry plan with you, just so you know what to expect. The inmate does get a copy of this as well. But this is very important because it sets the tone for the rest of the person's time. And given right now where we're at with COVID-19 and CARES Act and other concerns, this does play a role. So without further ado, here we go. So the first part is are there any detainers? Does the person have any unresolved charges, or is there an unresolved state case somewhere where another law enforcement agency wants to pick them up? Hopefully there's no detainers. If there are detainers, then that is going to bring the risk up quite a bit. And obviously they won't have much of a release plan other than be released to the other agency. Even immigration, there's ICE immigration, ICE detainers on folks. They have to go to ICE and then get deported. Okay, so detainers was number one. Number two is your current work assignment. So that's just where the inmate's working, whether it's facilities or the chow hall, food service, whatever, if they're an orderly somewhere. That's the next element, is their current work assignment, and work is important. It can be an important program and part of federal inmates' life. Next is the current education. Education is a big deal in terms of risk. Remember, people with verified high school graduation get a 2-point reduction, and that's noted here if you're English proficient or not, and if you've completed a GED or a high school diploma. Those are very important factors, particularly having completed a high school diploma or GED is very important. If you haven't done so, please do so while you're there, and that will, again, lessen your risk score. That can also make a difference, too, between going from a low to a camp. Next is disciplinary history for the last 6 months. You hear in a lot of the CARES Act stuff the last year, but in the institution, what have you been clear conduct? Have you gotten into trouble? Do you have any incident reports? Do you have any shots against you? So hopefully the person's been good and there's been no incident reports. Okay. The care level assignments is very important, right? You have a mental health care level, and then you have a physical, stable chronic care or physical care level. And so looking at the person's care level 1 is very healthy, care level 3 and 4 more chronic and more in need of attention. Medical duty status, are you medically cleared to work? Do you have any restrictions on an inability to lift or an inability to do certain things? Are you medically clear? And some folks are and some folks aren't, depending on their medical clearance level. Drug assignments, does the person have an alcohol or drug history? If they do have an alcohol or drug history, they may want to participate in the drug education program and then some non-residential drug abuse treatment. Some of the folks that are RDAP qualified will then want to be qualify and get placed on an RDAP waiting list at their institution to go into RDAP. So the drug assignment is an important part of the release plan. FRP details, financial responsibility program. Have you paid all your fines, restitutions, and those things? And that's usually specified in the judgment and commitment order. And are you paying your fines? If you haven't paid your fines, are you making monthly payments toward your fines and participating in the financial responsibility program, FRP? Any progress since the last review? Any highlights? What are some goals for the next program review? Long-term goals, which is obviously going to be release. That's one of your long-term goals, is to get out of federal prison. Are there any other comments? And lastly, they'll do an assessment. Are you eligible for First Step Act? And you'll be eligible or ineligible. Are you eligible for the recidivism risk level? And that's kind of one of the pattern scores. You can be medium, minimum, low, medium, or high. So hopefully your loved one is a minimum. If not, the next best thing is a low. If they're a medium, maybe one day they'll get to a low. Obviously, the minimums are the folks that get the most consideration for most of these benefits that have been going around recently. Risk levels of low are eligible, but if their release date is soon, later 2020, early 2021, mid 2021, the release date drives the benefits in that case. All right then, well, that's all I have at this time. Thank you for listening. We just went over the individualized reentry plan that every inmate participates in as part of their team reviews, and how that might apply to releasing or even early release. So please stop by our Facebook page if you like, and our website, federalprisonauthority.com. Please feel free to subscribe and comment below on any and all of our videos, and we'd be love to answer your questions. So until then, till the next video, we'll see you later. Take care, everybody.